Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's painting is a pretty experimental piece. It's not something I usually do, but I saw this reel on Instagram and I was like, oh, this looks quite fun and easy, so I thought I'd try it out. I think one of the captions that caught my eye was that you don't need talent to do this. And I was like, yes, today I want to take it easy. I just want something simple where I can have fun with, play around the paintbrush and upload a video. So the first step is to kind of scatter paint around on the first layer in different colors. But I wanted mine to be a little bit more harmonious and my favorite color. So on the first part, I just draw out this like random squiggly lines to kind of like separate, compartmentalize each different colors, and then I kind of just paint them in one solid color but different from each of these parts. So I'm using like light blue for some, mid blue, dark blue, purple, and also light purple. So I also want to create a little bit of contrast. So like some corners will be like really dark and some corners will just be lighter, or especially in the middle. And so right now I'm just kind of like trying to see if the colors will work, and then once I'm ready, then I just paint over it for the second layer. I think when it comes to these kind of paintings, there's no set of rules. You can really just do whatever colors you want to do and how you want to do it. Even for this shape that I'm drawing, you can just like do it like a different way. It doesn't have to be like this, because right now I'm also just trying it out myself. So as of right now, I'm just kind of like painting the second layer so that the paint is even. It'll be just like one solid piece. So over here, I kind of messed up a bit. I was thinking of drawing like a little bit of lines to separate this the colors from each other, but I decided to scrape it off. So we're just going to like fast forward to the next part, because I decided to kind of just show my process along the way, because this is also like I'm just kind of like experimenting. So I thought the lines looked very kiddie, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like paint over it. Then I decided to kind of just like blend everything so it has a kind of like a more softer background, like a little bit blurred and a bit softer. And I think I prefer this so much more than the kiddie lines that looks like a little bit like puzzles or not puzzles. So I'm just using the colors that I used earlier, and I'm just like blending it and trying to cover the mistake that I've made. I also have to remind myself that when it comes to more abstract-ish kind of piece, like, you do not need perfectionism. In fact, I think it's better to just be loose, and let it go with the flow. So as of right now, I'm trying to do my best, just go with the flow. I'm just trying to soften the lines so it becomes this like very soft background to work with. And then once that is done, I leave it overnight for the paint to dry. So this is the next day. When the paint has completely dried, I take a masking tape and I paste it all over the canvas. So this part is really up to you as to how thick you want the lines to be. But I'm using a 30 by 30 cm panel here and two panels, so I kind of want a bit of thin line, so I measured this in 0.5 cm per stripe. And once I've marked it out with a pencil, I take a blade and I follow the lines that I draw and I cut it all out. So what you're supposed to do is to peel off the masking tape that you've like marked it out and cut in alternate rows. So this part is actually pretty therapeutic because it's a no-brainer. You're just like blading and cutting, and then you're just like tearing the tape off. But my advice is that use a very sharp blade and also a ruler that is straight, because my ruler has all this paint around the edges and my blade is pretty worn out because I don't use it much. So when I peel off the masking tape, some parts are uneven. So I think it would have been a much easier job if I had a sharper blade and a ruler that is perfectly straight. So this part is very repetitive, so I kind of just fast forward it, and then once that is done, this is the second step. I'm going to paint over this with the stripes and all. What I should have done is I should have painted the lighter color below as base and then the darker color on top, because sometimes the paint isn't opaque you could see through it, but I decided the best technique to do this is with a sponge, because if it's with a paintbrush, sometimes you can lift off the edges of the masking tape. Though I've just decided to use a sponge, and I just dab the paint on top for the second layer. I'm actually quite happy with the colors I chose for the second layer. I've decided to go with shades of pink, peach, emerald green, and a little bit of green, and I just mix it with a bit of white to get that kind of dreamy spring look. Once the paint has dried, I go over it with the second layer and just kind of try to soften it as much as I can. And also, because the pink is a little bit translucent, so I wanted to kind of make the paint a little bit more solid. So I just stick the the sponge, and I just continue to dab until I'm satisfied. And then now's the fun part. I'm going to peel off all the tape. As I was peeling it off, I was pleasantly surprised by how it's coming together. My only regret is that I should have perhaps used the sponge for the first layer, and I should also create more contrast by lighter space and darker spaces, and then I think it would have come up a lot nicer. So there you go, that is what I learned today, and I think it's a pretty fun technique, and you could explore a lot with this with different colors and such. So for this final part here, it's just me because I cannot resist adding a splash of red and a rose. So I decided to kind of paint this X-shaped rose in the middle, and voila, this is it. I hope you enjoyed this super fun tutorial. I think this is great for DIY wall art. Like I said, you don't need talent to do this. You just have to splash colors around, and then a little bit tedious with the masking tape, but that's it. Anyway, I hope you like this tutorial, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.